Well, welcome to another Northeast Ham Radio Happy Hour. Well, if
Woo!
you're new to this,
Yes.
you might be asking, well, what is New Hampshire? Or, sorry, I keep doing that. Sorry, man. It's
Wow.
Northeast Ham Radio. We are much bigger than New Hampshire. But it just rolls off the tongue so easy there.
We're
Not
bigger
much
than
like-
New England.
That too. So you might be asking, what is Northeast Ham Radio? Well, we're a bunch of hams in the Northeast, of course. We're all excited about the ham radio hobby, and we just want to get together and have a few drinks and talk about ham radio, or maybe ham radio adjacent stuff, but mostly just ham radio. So with that, we got a bunch of folks in the chat. Glad to see you folks in there, and with that, we've obviously got our usual regulars here. So kind of let's just go around. What's been kind of going on? Paul, how about you? What's long time no see. We've been pretty busy this week.
Yeah, well, so we live streamed on Wednesday. We live streamed on last night. No, I'm sorry.
Oh,
yeah, Thursday. Yeah, and here we are again. So, I get to play around a little bit yesterday. 6 meters, 10 meters. I was hoping for some good stuff, but it just really wasn't there. I did find 20 and 40 meters. There was a few East Coast stations that I could hear, but even just running whisper tests and stuff, I wasn't getting anywhere west of the Mississippi and nothing across the pond. So it's definitely been interesting, but. I guess we got a couple more days of this, so we'll see.
Oof, yeah, that's for sure, man. This whole G4,
it's pretty though.
It is. I mean, Mike has got
Yeah, backgrounds.
Really, I'm the only one without my photos, so I feel like I'm out of the club. But the storm and the Northern Lights, man, they were pretty impressive. I've seen a lot of photos so far, and hopefully, if I remember not to fall asleep again on the couch tonight, that I will make sure I mosey on outside and check that out, in here. But I am like you, Paul. I mean, I kind of play the bands a little bit, mostly FD8, and not really a whole lot there. So, how about you, Mike? Anything? What's been going on? I mean, a long time no see.
Yeah, no, it's surprised to see you here. I mean, you're like the hardest working man in YouTube this week. This is like the third live stream, and premiere and everything. It's crazy. No, it's all good. I definitely enjoyed the Northern Lights last night. That's from my back deck. I did not play any radio. I haven't played any radio for a few days. It's been crazy busy with the kids and work and whatnot. But it was really neat to just walk outside and see that. Spoiler alert, I was working on a presentation. I'll be doing a video. Hopefully it'll come out Tuesday, that I've been wanting to do for a while on propagation on Mars. So I'm doing all this nerdy science stuff, right? And then to walk out and see the Northern Light, I was like, "Oh, this is wild!" I was just doing some stuff like that in a deck, so it was neat to see, and it's a nice makeup for the eclipse and being clouded in for that. So.
Yeah, I know, Ryan. I'm a slacker. I was still sleeping, I think, when I had the opportunity to take pictures. So yeah, we'll make up for it tonight, but it won't be on the live stream. I could snarf one of the other photos off our Discord, but then that would be copyright infringement. So, yeah,
You're welcome. You're welcome to borrow mine. I mean, we live in the same town, so.
Here's a funny story with that photo behind you, Paul. Like, I was showing my wife that because she was like, "Oh, I wish I could see a couple." I'm like, "Well, there's some really good ones." And I showed him, like, "Hey, Paul took a few." And she's like, "Is that his antennas in the background?" And I'm
Yeah,
like,
it is.
"Of course they are." what else would compliment the aurora there? There's no doubt
Yeah.
about it.
So that's the feed line for the dipole, and then that's the Cushcraft R7.
Yep. Very cool. So, Mike, you didn't get a chance to do any VHF, UHF, no 6 meters, nothing at all?
No, I took it easy. Like I said, the kids, it's two soccer games today, had practice, and then like a after school activity with the other one. It'd been nuts. I haven't had more than like an hour or so of my time to myself. I was tempted though. I was tempted to just set up on the deck for 6 meters last night. I didn't. We'll see if I get around to it tonight.
Yeah, there was some guys in our club that were doing not meteor, similar meteor skip, but basically doing it off the Northern Lights and
Yep.
making some very interesting contacts. And a few of them were like getting super excited, like giddy little schoolgirls. So it was like really cool to see them all jumping on that and playing bands. So good deal with that. Well, over to you, Marvin. Obviously you've been on my live stream Thursday. You're almost kind of following suit with me, but what's up with you?
Yeah, been a kind of a busy week myself. Just more about trying to. Today I was doing a bunch of yard work and playing catch up at the house here, but now this week will be the rest of the week is preparing for Dayton and getting ready for that trip because I will literally leave Dayton on Friday, then head to Kansas City. I come home for 3 days, and then I'm flying to Minneapolis for Memorial Day weekend. So I don't really have much time. So limited radio ability as well, and I'm kind of hoping that I can play a little 705 radio while in Kansas City. I'm trying to debate whether I want to take literally one of Matt's wire antennas, or if I'm going to take with my little 19-inch Soto beam, or if I'm going to just take the mag loop and try and play with that. But if I take the mag loop, that means I got to take the big tripod and everything to go with it, and I don't want to have to carry that with me through a plane. So probably not. So I'll probably end up with just a simple dipole of some sort. So
some dipole that I would recommend. There's at least one or two that we've all tested and played around with. So
oh yeah, I mean that not the endurance. Maybe it was the endurance, but
it's rated. Relia. I don't remember.
Reliance antennas. No, absolutely. I've got one and I love it. It's great. So.
I get a cut every time I say those words, so just let you know. Cut or something. Anyway, cool, good on that one. So, Dayton is definitely going to be a big topic to talk about tonight, and we'll have to dive in that in a little bit. But before we do that, let's kind of wrap it up with Matt here. So, what's been going on with you, my friend?
Doing well, hitting lots of Hamfest. Did Warminster, which is down near Philly, about last Sunday. Good turnout, even though it was threatening rain. But no, it was fun. I didn't get a chance to play too much radio this week, but I did play around with 6 meters, and it was acting very weird. Signals were going super strong to fading weak, and jumped on the SDR, and 160 was actually working pretty well with some QRM behind it. I was surprised, but all the other bands, it was dead static silence, So, but didn't get to enjoy the auroras last night. We had clouds and rain. The picture behind me right here is from Western Pennsylvania, where a friend of mine, she said there's beautiful auroras. So that's near Butler, Pennsylvania, northwestern PA.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, you're one up on me anyway, so good on that one. Yeah. So for me, I guess obviously we all talked about. I've been live streaming my butt off this past week and so. But at the same time, been kind of playing a little radio here and there. I got a chance to do a POTA right before the whole G4 kind of storm hit. So I was down in Fall River, Mass, for a client, and decided to hit a park out there called Fort Phoenix, and that was like literally right on the ocean. In Revere, if folks know Mass in general, or it's actually Fall River, which you don't want to cross lines with saying you're from Revere and in Fall River, but I was very impressed with the fact that I netted about 40 contacts, within about 45 minutes, which is pretty good for a lot of static. The bands were pretty crazy, but the one thing I had to do, very early on was the winds were so bad that my Wolf River coil fell over like 2 or 3 times. And then at that point I was like, all right, we're going to hammer this thing into the ground and anchor it. And so Paul's stakes that he finally gave me 3 years ago.
The screw in?
Yeah, the screw in ones. Those, man, that thing wasn't going anywhere. I mean, I have got video from hopefully a cut I'll do later in another video, but the antenna literally is almost like, it looks like it's in a high, hurricane windstorm. It's crazy how far it's bending. I was just like, okay, well, I'm making contacts. It doesn't matter. So, that was a blast to be able to get done. So yeah. And I, from a whole 6 meter stuff, I kind of fired up the antenna, not thinking I'd be able to tune it up, and it tuned up pretty well. And I didn't make many contacts. I think maybe 3, but like you said, Matt, it was like, a S11, minus 11, 23, and then gone. And it's like, okay, all right. I was having a great, QSO with you, and I lost you. So it was interesting to do, and definitely, hopefully tonight I'll be able to get a little bit more in. I've been kind of watching the bands, but the bands have been pretty dead. But it's funny to look over at the spotting page and see like 45, stations on 20 meters, and you're like, yeah, 20 meters is dead. The only thing I hear is the Maritime Mobile Net putting out 2 kilowatt just to stay alive, so people can hear them. So cool. All right. Well, with that, let's kind of just dive into the chat here. I mean, we got a couple of people. I just saw Smoking Ape in there earlier, and Andy Cowley. Guys, thank you guys for jumping in and hanging out with us. We always appreciate you. If you want to throw in comments, we'll always love to bring you in and have a little fun. So feel free to chat it up in the chat. And so kind of tonight we're talking Hamfests in general. I mean, obviously we got a couple of guys here, as we alluded to, that are going to Hamcation in Dayton. I am not one of them, but we had kind of talked a little bit on my live stream a couple of weeks ago, where a couple days ago. See how bad it is.
That's been a long week, hasn't
it? Too many live streams.
I'm going to be a widow soon, but my wife should be a widow soon. Anyway, the kind of topic came up was just like, okay, Hamfest, so let's kind of kick it off. I mean, obviously we talked that, Marvin and Mike, you guys are going to Dayton. So kind of tell us a little about what your itinerary plans are, and are you going for your channels, or are you just going to hang out? And, is there any one thing you're looking forward to?
Mike, you want to run first?
Sure. Yeah. No, I'll be out there. I'm going to head out Thursday. One of my friends, W2 MVP, and I have gone out the last 2 years. We're bringing one more along with us, and 2RPG, one of his best friends, and looking forward to the trek out there. So I'll be around all day Friday, Saturday, and then at some point we'll head out on Sunday. I shot a little bit of video last year when I went out. I was still pretty new at YouTube's. I'll do something. I have no idea what. I finally have started to actually, like the other day, look at the program and kind of try to plan out some of the things that I want to make sure that I do. But I'll definitely have some content. I don't know if I'm going to live stream or not. There'll be plenty of people doing that. But I'm definitely looking forward to it. It's starting to kick in now that it's just a couple days away.
Now, any one specific thing you're looking for when you go there, or are you just looking to, check out any like one specific vendor release, because there's obviously a couple out there, but anything that kind of caught your eye or you're, hunting for?
I've got a list, and we can get into that when we talk about, like, that's definitely one of the things for Hamfest is keep a list. We all have like phones with notes apps on them or something. Keep a list, a running list, things to look for at Hamfest. I mean, I have that, and I've done that like the past year. It just helps keep me kind of focused and remember some of those little odds and ends that it'd be like, oh, it'd be nice if I could find this type of a connector or cover or things like that.
Right. Yeah. The old typical, I need like 45 of the 90-degree elbow connectors, and, you ran out and you got to, find the typical tower electronics or something. So cool. All right, well, Marvin, over to you, man. What's going on? Like, so what's your itinerary looking like? And, are you flying out? Or are you driving? Or are you doing a mix?
Yeah, so I'll be flying out early Thursday morning. Should be in Dayton around noon, 1 o'clock, into the fairgrounds there. And I will be probably meeting with some vendors during that time and try and, make some contacts there. I've got to spend some time as an ARRL employee now at that booth on Friday morning, just up for a little bit. And
yes.
So I'll be spending some time around there. So come see me if you stop by. I'll be over at the education booth there. And so I'll be working that a little bit. And then I'll spend the rest of my afternoon kind of going through a couple things. So I won't get a ton of extra time to be able to do a lot of Dayton this year. But there's a couple of vendors I do want to hit highlights. Just one, I continue my business with them. And my affiliations. So I'll stop and say hi to them and check in with them a little bit and see how things are going. And then I'll have to fly out Friday evening, unfortunately, to get to a graduation in Kansas City Saturday. So my time in Dayton this year will be, at least I'm making some time there, but it'll be very short. So
Right.
again, I have to make the most of my time on Thursday as much as possible, and I'll be doing the Flex banquet on Thursday night as well. So so yeah, that should be pretty fun. Never done that before, and of course, Flex is always great across the board. So
Okay.
I've
I've got 2 requests for you. The first one is sneak your phone into the Flex banquet, and I'd like a play-by-play as to what they release or what they talk about, because they usually don't convey any of that information out of their banquets, to the general public until a lot later. So I
right.
appreciate that. And the second one is you're obviously a tall guy like myself, so I am only asking for this, is that I'd like to have a group photo of you and Good Game standing next to each other, because I'm just curious to see how much of a slight height difference there is.
He's slightly taller than me. I'll tell you that. I work with him every day. He's a little taller than I am, but not much.
Yeah. I know he's a pretty close, second to Digital Rancher. Digital Rancher is a pretty close second to Steve Good Game. So either way,
yeah,
it's always good to see.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll get a photo there for sure.
Cool. And we'll dive in. I assume you got a list of stuff you're looking for, or because you're flying, you're not going to pick up much.
Well, I've got to, like I said, meet with a couple of vendors, and then I don't really have a lot I need right now. I'm kind of in that world of exploratory for amplifiers, and so I'll probably do a little bit of looking around some of that and see what's out there, what's available. I think I'm going to go with the Flex Power Genius XL. That's where I'm kind of leading, but because it will work and integrate into my FTDX10 just fine. But I think I've got the greenhorn antenna rotor selected. I'm going to upgrade to here, and then I'll integrate that into a program called Node Red. If you guys have heard of that before that. So that's kind of what my future shack's going to look like as I'm building up here. So, I some of those things I can't get there, but I'll definitely, always look for a couple connectors here and there.
Well,
never have too many.
A good topic to talk about, sure, is about shack automation and stuff for us, and Node-RED is definitely always on the docket there. I'm a Node-RED newbie myself, so I totally can understand.
Well,
cool.
I just picked up a MacBook Air. it's completely Mac, and I'm finding everything I can do on ham radio via just a Mac only, from FL Digi integration, Rumlog, using hammers. I'm trying to find a way for everybody just to go straight Mac if it's possible. And what problems do you run in doing that? Because you can run WSJTX and everything else on Mac. So I'm future stuff coming out for me on my side too. So
yeah, well, being a sole Mac guy, that was the always hard transition to go back to Windows. But now that I'm on Windows, it's like the only reason why I didn't make the transition is because I supported in IT, and having to deal with Windows 8 hours a day and then having to come home and do the same thing for my personal fun time. Yeah, no, I'm with you on the Mac side. However, you might want to follow K-Murder. I know he's been proselytizing Macs for quite a while, and he is heavily on board with even moving away from his Jankopotamus to an M1. Was it
MacBook Air?
MacBook Air. Yeah,
right.
I've got the same thing. So
he just got the MacBook Air and was showing how to do it on a recent video.
Yep. Yeah. So.
Yeah. Well, he was talking about the DigiRig on there, specifically how to change the attenuation on it. Yep.
Yeah.
For the G90 and I think the 818, I believe.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that DigiRig is quite under attenuated, especially when you need to be able to get the signal knocked down a bit. Cool. All right. Well, so obviously, myself and Matt and Paul, there's been some local kind of Hamfests and whatnot. And Matt, you've been obviously doing the circuit a little bit in terms of Reliance.
Oh, yeah.
So obviously Dayton's not on the radar, but what have you been doing so far?
Oh yeah, I went up to Nearfest. That's where I saw you guys, Marvin and Eric. I didn't get to see you, Paul, because you were I think down in Florida enjoying a nice warmer trip.
Yeah, I was in Virginia at the time.
Oh, not Florida. All right. It was nice though. It was a nice beach. So after this, we're going to Breeze Shooters, which is actually where this picture came from, in Butler, Pennsylvania. So that's the next big Hamfest after that. And other than that, just hitting them all up. Planning on next year to go to Dayton. Really want to. I saw there was a couple tickets available on QRZ. I was debating on getting it, but my work schedule is just too crazy right now to fit that in. So I was up at 4 a.m. this morning and went out to a customer to be there at 5. So definitely crazy. So next year, Dayton, but I'll be hitting a lot of the Hamfests in the Northeast in the next few weeks.
Cool. So, Mike, quick question. You said you're driving, right?
Yes.
Are you bringing a very large car with you?
It's Subaru Outback.
Well, then this might not work for, because
it's
the ape was looking to get some Roan towers. Deal with them after, and it might be a possibility.
Just strap it to the roof. You'll be fine.
Yeah, strap it to the roof with a little flag at the end.
Yeah.
Depends how many sections he wants. That's obviously a concern, and I wouldn't want to scratch the paint. That's for sure. But all right, cool. Well, so Paul, obviously nothing in terms of the Hamfest, but what you got? We can kind of circle back around if you want to throw anything in there. Feel free. If not, we can talk a little bit about laundry lists and stuff of what you're looking for in the future.
Well, yeah. So, if you guys happen to come across a really smoking deal on an ID52, just kind of think of me.
You've got his digits. He's on Discord. He's very reachable. Cool. All right. Well,
they had last year at Hamvention. They had a sweet deal, and I think if anyone in the chat remembers, I think it was 300 is what HRO was doing for the 5DR.
Wow.
It was like the cheapest ever, and it was a little bit later when I found out, but yeah, that was I was kicking myself after for not finding out till it was too late.
Yeah, there's always one of those things that kind of get you in the butt. Is that you always miss the deal, or they get a fire sale and you end up missing out on stuff. I mean, I can't remember who I was talking to. Somebody was saying about the 7100 too. That ICOM's kind of alluding to bringing it back and offering some primo deals on it. So if you got the checkbook open, you might as well keep it open for at least a couple more weeks.
Well, did you see the deal that came out from Gigaparts on an email the other day? They kind of had a picture of the ICOM 7100, and then they didn't really reveal what it was, but you could obviously tell it was that radio. But it was called a mystery radio box, and they had it for $899. And it was like, it's like, come on, I wish I could.
That is the one thing I really wish that a lot of larger companies would get their act together. It's like, come on, how hard is it to get a marketing team that can develop like better marketing for like some of these promotionals? Like you get into the world of tech and it's like they do a great job of being able to like, hey, we're revealing so and so for the next release at this convention or whatever, and they lo and behold make it all great. But like it's like they kind of hired the junior marketing people to create their
well, it just makes me wonder with them, like Gigaparts basically said they had too many of them in stock, and like, okay, well, does that mean ICOM's trying to get rid of them because they're going to bring out something new, or are they just overbought an abundance of them and trying to get rid of them and they can't sell them right now? Nobody's buying it. It just makes me wonder why they're selling that radio so cheap. So.
Well, have you also seen too that ham radio outlets now actually getting more on the bandwagon with their YouTube channel? They were just promoting this Order Annoying, or I can't remember, or basically they were touting it as the MFJ kind of replacement company, as in they basically said, oh yeah, like all the parts that they kind of brought out were like all of the typical MFJ multi-magnet, rooftop mounts and connectors and SWR meters and stuff like that. And they were just trying to say, well, have fear not, this company's kind of stepping in the gap to fill MFJ shoes, which is cool. Because they apparently have hundreds and hundreds of products that are amateur specific. So we'll see kind of where that improves that the big loss that we kind of have in the market space with MFJ gone. But so it kind of dovetails into the parts. I mean, obviously Mike talked a little bit about he's got his laundry list. What's his big what are your big items that you obviously can fit in your car on the car ride home?
Well, some of I mentioned I got a new car recently, and my other car, my older one, I never did a mobile install on because I got it, and every year I thought it was going to be my last year with it. So, and I don't, if I travel for long distances, it's usually with a rental car for work, and in which case, I got one of those window clip mounts that I'll put on the rental car, and to use that on the highways and stuff. But I want to check out and see what deals there are. I'm going to be looking at mobile radios, mounts, antennas, because I really want to get something nice in the ride. And when that 7100 ad dropped by Gigaparts, and I got that email the other day, I'm like, oh man, you're killing me, because I love my ICOMs, and then seeing that, it's definitely got me thinking. So we'll see.
Now, you looking more?
But the big thing is like something for mobile. Whether it's radio, mounts, or antennas. That's the big thing.
Yeah. Now, you looking kind of either or, meaning used or new, or just primarily new? Like, what's pulling you in which direction? It doesn't really matter.
I don't know. And part of the reason too is just to go and see some of the stuff hands on. Where we are in Western New York, there's no nearby HRO or Gigaparts or anything like that. And being a pandemic ham, it was like a year almost after I got my license before I saw other people's equipment in person and got to see things outside of what I had purchased myself. So it's, it'll be neat to go check out a lot of things hands on. I'd be open to used. I'd be open to new stuff. Whatever I get, it's like I want to make that investment, and I'm willing to buy once, cry once, if need be. So we'll see.
True that. True words there for sure. Especially if you can't overlook a good deal.
Yeah.
So, Marvin, what's your list looking like? You got any? I mean, obviously you can only put so much in your carry-on bag, but you bringing an empty one with you?
I will have probably just an empty one with some gear in it, but for all my streaming stuff, the tripods and things like that. But again, I don't really anticipate buying anything because I'm trying to save up for the amplifier. At looking at $5-6 grand for that, it's like, that's a lot to take in. So I'm trying to be pretty conservative in any other additional purchases with the new MacBook, upgrading to that, making everything across the platform, because everything I use for like here is all Mac, and my video editing is all done on my laptop, which is a MacBook Pro. So it's like I can just stay in the Mac Pro and get out of Windows, and I'd be just fine in life. So I don't really don't plan on buying a whole lot there. But to answer the one person's question, I did see come up about Buddy Pole being there. Yes, they are on that list to be at Dayton, and they usually are. So
yeah, the roster of vendors are the typical.
Yes, thank you, Mike. You're exactly right. Mac for the win.
Hey, I'm a platform agnostic person. I like both. I could care less. I mean, I deal with both, and both of them have their advantages for sure. But for the feeble and simple minds, Mac's the best way to go. No, so all right, cool. All right, so you no major list there.
No major list, no.
So Paul and Matt, obviously, we're kind of in the non Hamfest of Dayton, approach, but at the same time, obviously we got some big ones coming up. I'm sure in the local areas. Matt, you got a bunch that you're going to. You ever do the obvious of get a chance to break away from the table and peruse a lot of the Hamfests you go to, or no?
Unfortunately not. I tried to break away just to get some coffee at 9 a.m. at Warminster, and then I got a text message, although I left my phone at the table, and the text was from the other half saying, help.
I don't know what these things are.
Right, exactly. And my daughter says, read the sign.
See, you got to train her as a sales rep, She'll be
right. Yeah, I got to teach her more. I told her she's got to get her license. Then you'll know.
Get her to learn how to do antennas, help her build antennas, man. And she'll pass her technician, no problem.
Oh, yeah, easily. But no, unfortunately, I don't get to break away that often. And when I do, all the sales are gone by then anyway. So unfortunately,
you looking for anything, that you can pass off to any one of us, and we can keep our eyes open.
Just any NOSA keys, Larry Newman keys for CW. Okay. If you find the M3 paddle, looking for that one. I got an M5 on order just this morning. I was talking to Larry, and I bought that right away because when he makes them, he doesn't make them for long, maybe a couple days or a week at the most. And I snatched that up and got an M5 paddle. I'll show you guys when it comes, and excited about that.
I heard the M3s are almost on titanium at this point, right? Is that
true? Oh,
true?
yeah. He just came out with it not too long ago. And I think Evan, he's on YouTube, did a review because he's up in Mike's area in New York. And He says, "Oh, get it. I got it." And then I did the dumbest thing and I sold it to a ham friend. And then I contacted Larry going, "Hey, can you make me another one?" He goes, "That one's really difficult to make. I'm not making any more of those." I'm like, "Oh."
Yeah, I hear like listening to K6ARK and a few other guys in the CW crews that they always talk about M3s and how they're like gold, better than gold, I would have to say. So I'll keep my eye out for one. If I happen to see one, I'll scoop it up for you.
Thank you.
Now you know what I don't understand though, right? Because I don't speak CW. That's not a language I know. But the CW guys collect keys like comic book collectors collect comics. Like I don't get it. Like why?
They all feel different, have different purposes. You got like the bencher that you sit on your desk, or Begali. Begalis are beautiful keys, but you'll never take them out in the field. But then you get the cheap ones, the CW Morris. Sometimes they work great. Sometimes you got to tweak them and mod them. But those are the ones you can take to the field. And if you lose it down, like a little rabbit hole, you'll be like, I'll just go on CW Morris, pay another $50 and you're good. So that's why we have so many.
Yeah, true.
Lots of rabbits stealing keys.
We got that right. Well, at least that's what we tell the wives, right?
Imagine if like voice and sideband guys had like multiple mics for their radios. That'd be really weird. Like, yeah, I've got this mic. I haven't touched it. This one goes to 11. I'm not gonna let that one. No, you can't even breathe on that one.
This has good gain in dB, right?
Something out of Spinal Tap or something.
Right.
Cool. All right. Well, so Paul, anything in your laundry list of stuff that you're looking for this year?
Well, so obviously, Hamfests for me are kind of out until we get to the fall, but I am looking forward to going to Nearfest in the fall. I want to shop the flea market stuff. Like I want to find the biggest bargain used. Like I love used gear. Especially if I gotta, do something small to fix it, because then it gives me that sense of accomplishment, like, I did this, right. But other than that, like, I really have everything that I could probably need, so now it's like, well, what's out there for the used stuff where I could get on a really good deal and I could maybe play with it and do something different.
Right. Yeah, good there. I'm kind of in the same boat as you, man. I think accumulated everything I kind of need for the shack and everything here, and mobile setup is pretty much good, unless as I've alluded to before, the deciding factor is that when Dayton finally passes, the 891's either going in the truck or it's not going in the truck, and if it's not going in the truck, it's because I'm getting a another one for my POTA rig, or hey, guess what, the Yaesu decided to reveal something that I want to slap some money down and give them everything I can. So
just get another 891. Then you got one in the truck and one to go.
Right, but okay. So this is my dilemma. It's like I spend $600. They come out with a 705 killer, which is I will constantly keep referring it to it. They just have to name it that. And when it does, it's going to be 100 watts, the same size as a 705, maybe a bit bigger, and I could care less if it's all band or all mode, but that's going to be my thing with the waterfall, and then that'll be in the POTA bag. But but it's not going to look like that. I don't think. I'm probably going to be putting the video out for the 891 and putting it in the truck.
Well, the sooner you buy that 891, then they'll come out with that killer, the 705 killer, right?
Right. Absolutely, they will. Murphy's Law finest.
So take one for the team and buy another one, man.
It's like the stories I've heard, hey, I bought my 706 Mark II G and then I turned around and bought it back. It's kind of that deal. I just can't live without it, and I need to have it. So, it's a tough one. But either way, from a more radio standpoint, I kind of was looking at a lot of the ICOM HTs and stuff, but then I felt like, okay, my 3DR is always on the shelf. I think I brought it once out to do an antenna comparison like 2 weeks ago, and I haven't put it into use, and I always forget it when I go to Hamfests and whatnot. So question for you, here's a little thing: when you guys go to Hamfest, you bring in any of your ham gear with you, any HTs or anything?
Always.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always carry my FT5D with me all the time. So I kind of took a plug after KM4ACK this year, and it's like, start carrying a handheld with you every day. And I don't still do it every day, but it's one of those challenges that is like, it's not a bad idea to have it with you whenever you might need it down the road. And it's like, all you get is a cell phone. If your cell phone fails, then do you repeater? Now if you don't have a handheld with you, you don't. So
that's true. Yeah. I mean, from my standpoint, I'm always in the truck, so it's like I always have my mobile there, and that's all good to go. But yeah, any of you guys else take your HTs with you wherever you go?
Oh yeah.
Yep.
I always have one in the car. I don't have one on me when I'm at work, but I always at least have something in the car. So, and on the to-do list is to make a little kit that I'm going to keep in my wife's car with one of the extra UV 5Rs or something, just to always have something there.
You might have to store it in the spare tire, because if she ever finds it, I'm sure she'll be like, Mike,
Yeah.
what's this?
Another radio.
This is taking space for all my cups.
Yeah.
yeah, the nice thing is working at W1HQ or ARR headquarters. I can listen to they have a HQ repeater for Yaesu System Fusion right there, so I can listen to it all day long and turn it on. They don't care. So, yeah.
Oh, man, the benefits. Those
Yes,
benefits.
it is kind of benefit.
Yeah, and I know Marvin's going, and I am, but for anyone in the chat or anyone that watches this later, like one of the neat features at Hamvention, and I think they probably do it at the bigger ones, is, bring some extra HTs, because you can bring them and get them tested by the ARRL, and they do the testing. So I've always bought like an extra HT or so with me that I want one of the newer ones or an older one to get tested and see if it's clean or dirty or whatnot. And
Good idea.
so, and it's free, no charge. I don't have yet one of the not the Nano VNA, but the other one, the signal generator one, or what am I blanking on?
Yep. It's
You know what I'm thinking of.
You're talking about
Sorry.
Somebody in the chat, help them out.
Yeah.
Smoking Ape should be able to step into that one real quick.
The tiny
Yeah,
essay. So yeah,
Okay.
I don't have one of those. So yeah.
There we go. Yeah.
Yep, there it is.
$8 short.
Yeah.
So, all right, cool. All right. So I apparently am the only one that forgets it, because half the time I'm always bringing my recording gear, and it's always the last thing to make it there, and I'm always just in the truck anyway. And a lot of times I just, maybe it's because of how I socialize. I hang around with like a lot of people in the club anyway that I'm hanging around with when we go to these events. So 9 times out of 10, I'll not bring it, because we're already like within 5 feet from each other, and it's not really a big deal. So, because I've learned that anywhere, if I'm gonna find the good deals and the secret things, it's better to have the guys who know how to scope out the actual swap meets and all of those areas, and you just kind of follow them along, and they'll be like, "Oh, did you see that rig?" And I'm like, "No." And they're like, "You see that rig?" He's like, "Oh, that was a good deal, but the guy over 3 rows before has it for like $150 less." And I'm like, how'd you remember that? I could barely remember like 3 tables before. And so it's kind of one of those things where you just you leverage the benefits of seasoned veterans. So there we go. Nice Oscar the Grouch there, my friend. All right, well, so then, what in terms of Hamfest, I mean, obviously we all attend them for different reasons, and the big thing for all of us, I'm sure, is just all like the social interaction component, which we all love to do. Any of you guys ever been to any of the seminars or speakers events, or the big kind of dinners and those things? You guys ever go to any of those?
Well, like I said, this is my first year doing the Flex Banquet, so it should be pretty interesting. I've been to some of the seminars at Dayton. I've never done them I've done some at Huntsville. I've never done the ones at Hamcation because it's always so nice. I don't want to be inside. But I did go to the one at Hamcation this year, I should say, for the first time. And that was because Yaesu was talking about the Wires X and Yaesu System Fusion information. John Crick was putting that on. And that was a very good course and very informative. And they're doing, I think, a 2-hour stream or seminar this Hamvention. So John Kirk will be putting that on about Yaesu System Fusion and Wire X as well. So it should be very good. So I'm hoping maybe I can stop into that one, but I've got enough going on Friday. I probably won't make it. I'm not sure if it's even on Friday. It might be a Saturday one, actually. So, but they are very informative, and they're usually very good to go to. And at least you get a lot of resources and information if you don't necessarily know everything, what you need to know about it. But if something you have interest in and you want to know a little bit more about it, at least it's a start the way to find the information you're looking for. So,
Very cool. Any of you guys do any of those, kind of tracks and Hamvention or even local Hamfest when they offer them?
Yeah, I always go and try to check out some of the forums at Dayton based on, like I'll go to the Parks on the Air one always, just, out of support. And there's a handful of others I'm looking forward to check out today on Coffee and Ham Radio. As Tito mentioned, he's going to fill in for Dave Minster. And he's doing the I think it's 3:00 or so on Friday. On gaming FT8 and stuff, and so they'll talk a little bit about some of the games they've done, whether it's the FT8 off or the more recently the Poseidon Poker or whatever. A lot of them are using the Poseidon.
Why not, to make it more difficult?
Yeah,
he's using he's using the Flex Radio from our from HQ on that one, so it's gonna be pretty cool. So yeah.
Okay, cool. How about
there's
you?
Usually some good ones to pop in and stuff. It's nice, and especially to show support for others, or just meet up with others. So
yeah, totally. It's good networking part for sure. How about you guys, Matt, Paul? You guys do any of that track stuff?
Nope.
I'm trying to get it. I finished my beer.
No, lately with Hamfest, no, I haven't. But previously, when I got into the hobby years ago, I went to look at some seminars and stuff, but never any thing like that. So, and it looks like in the future, I'm not going to be able to do that anyway. So I can barely leave the table.
I have to say the only thing that I've ever done is I kind of set a personal goal when we started doing Live Free and Ham last year. We were invited to, hang out at HamX in Mass. And, we did our live streaming there from there, and that was a blast. But there were a couple of, obviously people we interviewed from that had their own, talks. And one was Andy. I can always forget his call. He does Ham Radio Lennox. OIQ is his last 4 letters of his call sign. Man, I'm going to fudge it if I try to remember it. But anyway, he kind of came on, and I went to go check him out, and he's got a really good, he did a really good talk on that. And then the one other one that I really like to do was more on Minecraft and what was called Radiocraft from Lucas WMBR BTR. And he's kind of do a whole Minecraft, ham radio thing, which was really, really cool. We got to have him back on because I think he actually finally released his 1.0 version. So it's now real ham radio. And he's looking to kind of, from what I understand, watching the Discord, that they're looking to actually finally doing some like tie-ins to like Fusion and a few others. So like if you're licensed, they might be able to provide like a port for, to be able to talk from the Minecraft world to, the ham radio world.
Wow.
Which would be pretty cool. So
nope.
Yeah,
my only experience with any type of convention type scenario is the outdoor expo that they have in Milford every year, and so it's hunting, fishing, boating kind of stuff. But I don't ever go for the talks. I just go to look and see what's new.
Nice. Okay. Cool. Now in terms of since you guys are going to ham radio or Hamcation there, you guys
Hamvention.
have. Oh yeah, sorry. What? Yes, you know what I meant. All being said is you guys have a plan of attack of how you're going to get in and how you're going to meet up with a few folks, or are you just kind of going in and seeing what what's to happen for the day?
Probably from my standpoint, I'll just be grabbing my pass from their main media gate, and then checking things out along the way. Probably checking in with work a little bit, see where that's at, and trying to just check in with a few folks and again some of the vendors and get some early video and stuff before it starts getting crazy packed with people on Friday. It's really hard to do things then from that standpoint. So it's easier to try and get them at the end of the day or the beginning of the day. But Thursday they'll still be setting up. So if they're not too busy, I'll just rotate around and see what's there. And usually there's some people out in the tailgate area also. Usually, pre sale specials for setting up. So sometimes you can find a good deal there before the whole crowd gets into. So, yeah.
Cool. You, Mike, you got any plans to obviously once you get into the gates there to target somebody or hang out with?
Yeah,
folks?
and I'll say this: like the first year I went out, this will be my third year, and I've only been a ham for 3 years, so I've gone each year. And first year I went out, I got out there Friday afternoon, and that was a mistake because I'd never been. I didn't know what I was walking into, and I mean, there's so much to see and do. So I made a point when we went out last year that we were out there Thursday night so that we'd be there in the gates first thing Friday. And we went straight to the flea market because I wanted to get there early to kind of see what there was. And then each year I've always gone like on Sunday to kind of, as people are packing up or whatever, you're hoping to get a deal that last day. But I wanted to get to the flea market first right away, always, because, you know, once it's gone, it's gone. So you don't know what you're going to find or see. And,
Yep. That's a great strategy because you want to get there first and see what people have and what's there. Because if you wait till the end, everybody, all the good stuff you really wanted is gone. So I always try to go to flea market side first as well. The vendors and the commercial vendors will still be there, right? So, but what's in the flea market won't be there necessarily. So that's a great strategy, Mike.
Yeah, and the vendors usually won't sell it, and if they do sell out of stuff, like it's probably not going to happen, Friday morning. I would hope not. That they have enough stock to get through at least a day.
Well, unless Flex is taking pre-orders or something, but
Yeah.
Okay, so it sounds like the deals to be had, and this is kind of funny because it's obviously it's total of 4 days, right?
3 days.
Oh, 3 days. Okay,
Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Okay, but people get there Thursday already, and
because all the vendors will be setting up. I mean, there's vendors setting up on Tuesday already. I mean, they take that much time to do it. So,
Pre-game.
Yeah.
So the better question then is this: okay, where's Jason plop his camper down, and do you guys just go hang out there for the next 4 days?
Yeah,
no, definitely.
I wish I could be there longer. Yeah. Go ahead, Mike.
No, I was going to say, actually, I got a question for Matt as we're talking about the vendors and stuff too, because I think Matt could offer us some unique perspective being a vendor. Okay. And so I don't know if anyone else has sold stuff at Hamfests or whatever, but from that vendor perspective, do you have any suggestions, tips, tricks, or whatever to share with the audience on how to haggle and try to get that good price, that good deal or something? Being a vendor, what should we be doing here?
To put them on the there, Mike.
Yeah.
They always bring a lot of stuff and they don't want to take it home. So near the end of the day, you just got to haggle. That's the best time because they don't want to pack that extra stuff up. So haggle for their largest item or most expensive and go for it, man.
Is it better to undercut them really quickly in the front or just kind of play games with them and toy them around with like cat and mouse?
I just go straight for the throat, just say, hey, will you take this number or what number are you looking at for this, so you don't have to take it home. That usually works.
I'm done. I'm gone. See you later.
Yep. Because remember, they got to pack all that stuff up and it takes a lot longer because they pull it out, and they bring it out of the vehicle. Like for our setup, it takes 15 to 20 minutes. We have it down to a science with the tablecloths and everything. So, but yeah, packing up always takes longer and they're worried about getting things mixed in there where they don't need to be. So,
see, I don't know, like that strategy, especially like if you're selling like used gear, I don't know if that always works because like a guy in our club who is what we traditionally call around here as a horse trader. It's kind of a mock gear that kind of got developed way back when Nearfest was called Horse Traders. There used to be a whole bunch of where people would bring their boat anchors and swap stuff, and he kind of shared some of his solutions and how much he has for like storage space of stuff that he just brings and he just kind of takes it out and sells it. If he doesn't, he just brings it home with him. And I'm like, don't you ever like have back problems or like, muscle aches? Like, he's like, yeah, but you just kind of get used to the whole ordeal. And, and then there's the whole crew that dumpster dive after those folks that, throw stuff away. And it's like, oh my gosh, I like my new stuff. I'm sorry. I'm just maybe new ham.
Same here.
I'd be in the dumpster. Yeah.
Grouch is in the dumpster.
This isn't trash.
It's gold in here.
Yeah. Well, so cool. All right. Well, so like we got a couple more minutes here before we kind of wrap up, but anything, either in the, obviously the Hamfest coming up, or stuff in the future that you want to see more out of Hamfests, or do we think that they've kind of reached their point of like saturation of like this is the way it's going to be? Is there anything that because Kyle's busy causing and stirring problems up in the contesting world, so let's try to do that in the Hamvention world. What things can we start kicking the can around on to say that maybe it needs improvement?
I think some of the YouTubers on the kind of the other side, in Texas and California, they created the Hamvention challenge last year, where you had to go through like basically an obstacle course using radio tools, things like that, to be able to find and to get to a grand prize of like an ICOM 705, whatever it was, or wow. I think that's what it was. But then this year, as I kind of streamed the night on my channel, is the POTA booth has these 6x6 cards, and they're doing a thing called POTA Bingo, and you have to find who's activated 100 parks, or whoever's found a tick on them, or there was obviously enough to make a bingo card out of it, and lots of different things. So you go find somebody to sign off on that, and then they got some great prizes. They're giving one big single prize with about $200 they're giving away from the POTA booth. So they've got some other activities like that that people are starting to come up with and get creative, and I think that's a great idea to help bring people to Ham Radio Fest as well. And utilize some of those challenges and things, and make people have fun and give people a reason to come and have interest in those type of things.
Okay, cool. I like that idea.
Yeah.
You guys have anything that needs improvement, or you want to basically say this is your opportunity to make it a 2.0 version?
No, that challenge idea seems like a good one. Maybe have like Easter eggs at vendors, not physical Easter eggs, but like something hidden, that people have to find to,
Well, that was part of the
challenge.
course, was that there was literally like a fox hut that was at one of the vendors or something. Yep. So that's what you had to go find. So, and then there's codes and some language in there that you have to figure out and decipher, like how to figure out what the antenna length is and things like that. So there's all kinds of stuff that they have done as part of that challenge in the past. So I'm not sharing nothing that was new for this year, but it's things like that it requires a little technician and general knowledge to figure some of that stuff out, and you can't just easily Google and determine. You probably can find some of that, but some of it just knowledge you have to have. So
here's the thing.
That's awesome.
Any of you guys, growing up and being in the IT space, I used to go to conventions all the time, and I used to come home with like bags and bags of stuff from the.
You still will
from the vendors. You still
do.
Yeah,
you still do.
Because that was kind of my disappointment with HamX is that the small vendors, obviously we had, obviously we're doing some of that stuff, but sure the large commercial guys, hopefully would, but I want my own ICOM shirt.
Like Yaesu gives away hats, and everybody gives away a sticker, and it's whether it's ICOM or Yaesu or any ARRL has pins and all kinds of stuff that you can. Vendors have pins galore to write with, not just a button pin, but everybody. A lot of people at Hamfest like buttons, and so you literally click your button, you put your lanyard on, you get your name tag here, and you got your button put on your, from 2018 to 2024. You have your list of all your stuff, but you find people like, oh my gosh, I'm going to draw a blank out of his name. I want to say it's Randy. I know that's not right, but the guy out of Nebraska that does a lot of electronic stuff, and I know you guys know who I'm talking about. And maybe somebody in the chat will call him out for me. But he always wears a big, tall, like curious, not the
cat in the hat.
Yeah, the cat in the hat. Yes. So anyway, he always wears a big hat around the Hamfest. You'll see him, and literally, it's crazy the amount of people will have all kinds of stuff. I saw a guy with a hiking pack once, and he had a big an MFJ whip, whatever, off the back of his head here, and he was walking around doing HF, and I was like, "That's crazy! It's a great idea, but it's like, so you find all kinds of cool stuff and people, things, and get get creative as well. So it's awesome.
So yeah, sounds like the typical the soiree of stuff is there and alive and well. So just maybe I need to make my effort to head out to the bigger events.
Got to do it.
Stuff
just got to take time and do it.
Yeah, well, I have a Patreon, and I have a buy a beer link, so let's go.
Help support Eric to get the
donations.
Next year.
I will.
All right, we'll
every day for the next 365 if everyone contributes to the Patreon.
That's right.
We'll road trip.
Yep,
we're going
to do it.
Yeah, we tried to convince Ryan to fly us, but there was something about capacity and size of plane, and we had too many people on the itinerary. So one of us had to draw the short straw. We weren't ready to figure out who that was.
Who's going in the suitcase?
Who's in the tail compartment? That type of stuff. All right, cool. Well, any last kind of parting thoughts before we kind of wrap things up tonight?
Check the weather, man. That's pay attention to the weather with any Hamfest.
Yeah.
And I'll say, and this dovetails back to what we were talking about earlier with those last minute deals. First year I was out there, it was rainy on Sunday, and we got there, and it was like a ghost town. And I'm sure a lot had to do with the weather, and people just Saturday night are like, you know what, I'm done, I'm out. And so
do that.
When we say, wait to the end, it doesn't necessarily mean the end of Sunday when people are packing up, because some people are packing up on Saturday. So, keep that in mind and just definitely check the weather. Be prepared, whether it's sunscreen, a hoodie or whatever you need.
Cool.
Because I'm sure it's going to rain and be yucky one of the days.
It's almost a inevitable issue at the Hamvention every year. It either rains overnight and it's kind of muddy in the morning and everything's wet, or it'll rain for maybe like an afternoon rain shower and then it's just kind of gone. But it's inevitable that it will rain at least one of the days for Hamvention. So,
okay, well, it's good to know. And so, all right, cool. Any you guys got any last minute advice, or is that pretty good to end on that one?
I think it's pretty good.
And on that one, have a safe trip, guys.
Well, so
thank you.
So just to give you guys a last round through, Mike, starting off with you, how can folks get a hold of you and reach out to you if they want to at all?
YouTube channel, Mike N2MAK. You can find me on Twitter at Kenner Connect if you can spell Kenner Connect.
That's the challenge.
and I thought about changing the handle to Mike N2MAK, but I don't know how long Twitter is going to be around for to begin. I don't even know if it's still called Twitter. It's but you can find me in Discord or on the YouTubes, whatever. And if you see me at Dayton, grab me, say hi. I know I'll have stickers and maybe some other things and stuff, but it's honestly, at the end of the day, it's the people that make ham radio so much fun. It's the people that make Hamfests and field days and all that stuff so much fun. So I'm looking forward to seeing a lot of people, and hope to get to see a lot of you in the chat out there. Looking forward to it.
All right, very cool. All right, how about you, Marvin?
Yeah, same thing. I've got stickers available. They'll be there with me as well. Find me on X, I guess that's what they call the new Twitter there, Mike. And I'm just always the ham radio guy. Look for me on YouTube, and then you can follow me on pretty much any channel you can find a podcast, whether it's Google or iHeart, Spotify, Apple Podcast. I've got the Ham Radio Guy podcast out there, and you can pretty much look up the Ham Radio Guy and find me anywhere you want. Reach out to my Patreon channel. You can scroll down and find my stuff for my newsletter to sign up for that as well. And that's always in my description notes of all my live streams to sign up for the newsletter as well. So, I appreciate you guys, and thank you for all supporting this channel and supporting all of our channels as well. Help making this fun and educational for you as well. So,
sounds good, man. All right. Well, with that, Matt, how about you?
Doing good. You guys can find me on N3VAN Radio. That's on YouTube. I'm not really on X or Twitter. I got to get back on there. I have a Reliance Antennas page, but nothing on it, so I got to toss it on there. And also on the RelianceAntennas.com, check me out there. You can always ask any weird antenna questions or questions about radio. I had someone ask me, why is my radio acting weird? But he didn't buy an antenna from me. I'm like, all right, whatever. Here, I'll help you out. So I helped that guy out. and got his radio working. I think he had an 891. He might have saw one of my videos with the 891, so he had a question on it. But it was cool. I like helping people out. So, yep, find me on YouTube, N3VAN, or RelianceAntennas.com.
All right, very cool. All right, well, with that, over to you, Paul.
Oh, well, so I'm not a YouTube star like everybody else. I'm just the average Joe here. But I do have a very small YouTube channel. I appreciate all, I think 79 subscribers that I have.
Oh, so we have 13 on the show. Everybody go over there.
Come on, go to his channel and subscribe.
Show him some love.
You're guaranteed to get a mix of not just ham radio stuff. But I'm also I dumped a lot of my social media, so I got rid of the Facebook and Instagram and all of that. I still do Twitter. If you go to my QRZ, the link's there. That's just easy.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm like 43, 41 subscribers, so I'm trying to get to 50 and move up. So
subscribe, please. Definitely help out, guys.
We appreciate it.
So. All right, cool. With that, Paul forgot, obviously, my gosh, you're a freaking host of, Live Free and Ham. What is it? Are we not important to you anymore? You're too big. Yeah, you can catch Paul and I over at Live Free and Ham. Our YouTube channel is Live Free and Ham. And as always, for me personally, you can head over to N1JUR Amateur Radio and check us out there. And all of the latest content and videos that I put out. And like I said, Live Free and Ham's a great place too. If you haven't, or if you're looking for a good podcast, that's not totally. Yes, Paul, we paid Paul to do that. No, just kidding. He did that way before the podcast, so we just got lucky. So you can head over to any of your podcast players of choice, and you can check us out over at Live Free and Ham podcast as well. And with that, I am going to kick this to the curb, guys. It was great hanging out with you as always, and we had
a great show.
19. We had 20 in the show. So thanks all that joined, and we appreciate you guys supporting us. And with that, we'll say 7-3.
7-3, everybody.
7-3.